BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
We don't bite hard.
Hey everybody, it's Mike with BeastNet here, and on this episode I have with me Ed Leone. Ed, let everyone know who you are.
Well, I'm Ed Leone, and I am the director for the Frontline OCR Foundation. So we are a 501c3 organization, and we host the event Frontline OCR. So I handle the administrative charitable side of the organization, and then we have our race directors, Race Ready Obstacles, who handle the boots on the ground, literally boots on the ground operational aspect of the Frontline OCR.
Okay, and Race Ready Obstacles, I love Race Ready Obstacles. They make the best stuff.
They do. They're awesome people as well.
They are awesome. So you said it's 501c3.
Mhm.
What I know that my brain's not always clicking today. I literally just got back from vacation yesterday, so my brain hasn't clicked back into the real world. I'm still on a cruise out in the middle of the Bahamas.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Oh yeah, it was fun though. So I got to meet Jay and Silent Bob and did a walk with Ethan Suplee, and it was a great thing. So you're a 501c3. So what does that go towards?
That goes towards, well, there's various aspects. We have a specific charitable part of the event. It's the Sponsor a Hero program. And what we do from that is we raise funds, donations. That's how we're able to sponsor race entries for first responders and veterans, and occasionally a family member who's maybe accompanying one of these personnel. So that's what the charitable side of it is. And then, as any other race director knows, the other aspect of the business comes through the race sponsorships, through race registrations to pay for the operational aspects of the business, just the overhead.
And I mean, that's one of those things. I mean, I don't think a lot of people know about. I've worked with, talked with other directors and stuff like that, and I don't think people realize the insurance that gets
Insurance.
involved. I mean, insurance is huge because you're not just running down the road, you're going over obstacles. The chance of someone getting hurt is a lot higher, and a lot of people I don't think realize the more chance there is of an incident, the higher your rates are going to be. So with OCR type races, usually that insurance starts getting a lot higher. So that's one of those things that why registrations for OCRs are usually a lot higher than other
Absolutely.
types of it's the insurance.
Yeah, the insurance is, you can't go without, and it's absolutely very critical and expensive for the operation. You can't do it. I would not do it. I wouldn't recommend anyone doing it without the insurance.
Yeah, the insurance is huge, and then you have to pay for race ready obstacles to bring the obstacles out there, put them up. They have to be paid for their time, and all that kind of stuff, and the
Yep.
work and the craftsmanship they go into building those obstacles. And I mean,
It's an
just the
expertise.
knowledge.
Yeah, it's a skilled. They are basically in the trades,
Hmm.
for lack of a better terms. They understand how these obstacles are put together, how they're disassembled, placement, everything it's their journeyman basically at
Yes.
what they do. So it's critical to have a staff on board who's doing that, who knows what they're doing. And that was one of the reasons why I stepped away from the boots on the ground, because that is not my realm. I certainly don't want to make an obstacle course that's not safe for the participants. And so it's better that we have, and again, it's better that we're able to pay these individuals to do this, because they're professionals. And
Yes.
you don't want a weekend warrior coming out there and building a course where hundreds of people are going to be climbing on, and and just for structural issues, collapses. So
Yes.
you need to have those types of people on board, and those types of people are not free. And this is not a volunteer aspect. A lot of people who don't understand the race directorship of it is that this is a lot of work, a lot of time, and you need resources to do it. Otherwise, you just cannot operate. It's a reality, and you need to have the best people around you.
Yeah, it very much is. It's like the old saying that they always talk about, where you get the old engineer or whatever that comes in and fixes something in 30 seconds, and someone's like, why am I paying you so much for this? because you pay for my 30 seconds of time and then all of my knowledge that goes with it. Because if I hadn't been here and done this in 30 seconds, this would have taken you 3 weeks to fix.
Yep,
And you would have been down. And that's the thing a lot of people don't think about it. Yeah, race ready obstacles can come in there and they're going to get it done probably faster than anybody else would because they understand it. And like you said, they're journeymen. You're paying for that expertise
absolutely. Yeah, it's
and the
critical that they
safety.
are involved.
Yeah, and the
Yeah, that's
safety
the
of your
biggest.
people.
Yep, exactly. You won't have a race if something like that happens, so you need to have them on
Yeah.
board.
And that's it. I mean, the first time something horrible happens where something breaks and something like that, and you get that reputation, I mean, you're done.
You are.
You're
Exactly.
done.
Exactly. And that was the other aspect of the of going into the 501c3 aspect is that um, because this isn't something that we do for a living, it's better that we have it structured in a way that's going to help the community. It's going to be able to recruit sponsorships. Sponsorships are very important for these events. You know, your racers coming in, sponsorships, the donation aspect. So it just made sense converting it into a complete 501c3. Even though that was the initial goal of helping those that deserve it and those that need to be recognized. That was the reason we started the company, but logistically it made more sense to convert it into that aspect so that you can reach you have a greater arm of reaching out because knowing having the label or having that recognition that you're 501c3 says a lot.
Yes.
It goes towards the legitimacy of what you're trying to do. So this is our 9th event coming up, so that was a hurdle that just over time being around and not being a one and done type of an event really is why we're here. We're here to make an impact.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people don't realize too, a 501c3 to be 501c3 isn't just like you fill out some paperwork and turn it in. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of record keeping you have to do to show where that money went.
Yep,
And
you
if you
turn
can't show exactly where that money went, the government gets very, very unhappy with you.
absolutely. No, you have to have full transparency and having a good accountant
Mhm.
is very important.
And there's websites you can go to and look at 501c3s and even see what their rating is, to make sure that, a company's doing it correctly. Which I've dealt with another group that was a 501c3 and was there at the beginning when they set everything up. So I've seen a lot of the stuff that goes into a 501, c3. So I mean,
Hmm.
it's great to see that you guys have done that and gone through all the work for it.
Definitely.
It's awesome. So when is the event?
The event is May 25th, 2024.
May
We
25th.
Yeah, we usually do it over the Memorial Day weekend. So
Nice.
we tend to
And
have that free time available to do it.
and where is it located?
Byron, Illinois, which I'll just say um, Byron is not very well known, so I'll say that it's near it's about an hour and a half west of Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be about the only reason I'd ever want to go to Illinois. But and it's one of those things that, I've been trying to figure out because my goal is at some point I want to have done at least a 5K in every state.
Oh, nice.
So so far I've hit pretty much the West Coast. I'm missing Nevada for somehow I've never raced in Nevada.
Oh, you got to make a weekend out of that.
I've raced in Arizona. I even did the Vegas Spartans, but they were actually in Arizona, so I don't count it. But so I've never actually done one, and I actually even did because we just moved from Seattle to Texas
Okay.
in September, and when we moved, I stopped in every state I've never been to,
Hmm.
and I got the virtual medals, and I ran a 5K,
Oh, nice.
and then gave myself a virtual medal. So I stopped on the way down here. I raced. I did 6 5Ks in the weekend we drove down here.
Oh, wow.
So I
Jeez,
was like, yeah,
you were tired of it at the end.
I was. So, but it worked. I mean, it got me, 6 more states that I hadn't done yet. So,
Oh, good for you.
and then I hit Florida with more heart than scars. I hit Florida in December, which actually on my birthday, so which was kind of cool. But
Oh, okay.
so Illinois,
So the
that might be
temperature's
one of
not that bad in Florida in
no,
December.
no, not at all. So, and then I mean Illinois, there might be a good reason to come to Illinois to come try out the Frontline OCR. So,
Absolutely. Come on out. It's we like to consider ourselves family friendly because we do have a kids race. We do have different levels of requirement for the event. So we'll have our elites with the body armor. We'll have the endurance runners who are going to do multiple laps, And then we have the open waves, which it isn't mandatory requirement for completing obstacles. It's more of the experience and
Mhm.
supporting what the mission is all about and what our goals are. So we encourage everyone to give it a try. Just if you can't run it, walk it. We see
Yeah.
we get a lot of actually a lot of veterans, a lot of the athletes, Oscar Mike's athletes. They come out there and they're amazing to watch, and the
Yeah.
team is amazing to watch, and to be involved with something like that. I always tell people that if you're concerned about doing the race, look at these individuals. They're doing it as well. And that sort of kind of holds the accountability for someone, from talking and actually doing something. And that's what we want people to do. We want them to get on the course. We want them to get a taste of what it's like on the front line, whether it's with a carry or a climb or a drag. We just want to give that taste to the audience.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I mean, that's kind of one of those things for me, because I do stuff a lot with More Heart Than Scars,
Hmm.
which is a lot like Oscar Mike, but where athletes that normally wouldn't be able to do a race, we go and do it with them. Like I know we're doing the Houston Spartan weekend here in a couple weeks,
Hmm.
and it's going to be, I think we're taking 3 wheelchair athletes through the sprint. So,
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I because I was administering the race that day last year. Oscar Mike had a big team, and at the finish line, we finished with a warped wall. I think it was like 20 feet or more,
mhm.
with a nice cargo net spread across a span, and that was precarious. That was pretty frightening to get across that. And I think it was 16 feet plus on the scaffolding, but the wall was about 20. But getting to help Oscar Mike's team over that wall was amazing. It was just truly amazing to see these athletes get through the entire course. And it was just equally amazing for all the individuals helping,
Yeah.
getting them the teamwork that was required to get these individuals up that wall and over the net was phenomenal. And the feeling afterwards with them and listening to what they were saying afterwards, that was a great experience.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, it's one of those things I've told a lot of people. If you've never done a race where you're just there to help somebody, you should at
Hmm.
least once. Just once in your life, just to understand how it feels to pretty much, because most people that are helping them, Oscar Mike, More Heart Than Scars, there's a couple other organizations that do stuff like this. Ansie's Angels, another one.
Hmm.
Um, Most of us that are out there, we're not even out there really to race. We're just out there to make sure that those, athletes that they get through,
Yes.
and that it's amazing to watch. So it's awesome that Oscar Mike gets out there. I might have to yell at our crew and see if we can get some guys out there.
Hey,
But
if you want to come on board with the Oscar My team, we have race entries for them and for the racers who are helping. So they're part of the of our donation to them. So if you want to be part of the team, reach out to them. I know we have a contact that I can share with you. He's organizing the team this year, and he's pretty motivated at getting a lot more runners and athletes out there.
yeah,
One of the things.
I should. I know with More Heart Than Scars, I know we've kind of got a relationship with him, so I can talk to Joey and see if More Heart Than Scars isn't going to go out there. Maybe I can jump on with Oscar Mike. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, if you have athletes that are veterans, first responders, retired, let me know. We will definitely get some race entries for you guys to participate. So count on us to help you accomplish your mission. And just taking a back step, just kind of the genesis of the race, this kind of sparked the conversation. The
Hmm.
reason we started the event back in 2017 is that my partner, who's involved in the company as well, we were doing Spartan races and we were meeting veterans, first responders who had told us their stories. Just because you're on the course, you talk to people as you're going, you really connect with some people and you have long
Yeah.
lasting relationships. So over the course of doing these events, we would encounter these individuals and we'd, hit it off because we were in law enforcement and they were retired or they're military. So it was very similar in experiences. And we learned that obstacle course racing has saved many lives.
Yes, it
I
has.
don't know exactly what the right formula is, but I think the common denominator is the mission orientation again, the ability to get involved and help people on the course. Let me see what else. Just the adrenaline, the actual adrenaline from doing something difficult and accomplishing it. I think those are all factors contributing to the rescuing of these individuals who are suffering silently. Maybe they weren't, showing outward scars or disabilities, but they had them internally where you can't see those, and those are the ones that are doing the most damage
Yeah.
silently. So we decided, you know what, let's host an event that not only recognizes the military, but first responders, because if you're in the arena, a lot of individuals who serve overseas or the military, they go into um, first responder type work. And
Mhm.
again, it's that sheepdog mentality. So you're on the course, and one of my favorite parts of going to these races is I'm not in any delusion that I'm going to go win in one of these races, but if I'm out there on the course and I see people that are struggling, just encouraging them and helping them, giving them, reaching that arm down and pulling them up to the top of the wall, that is an awesome experience. And I think that's part of the mission orientation that these individuals feel, that they're contributing again. They
Mhm.
connect, and that brings them from the brink. So our mission is, we created the race, we got it off the ground, but our mission is to have one of these individuals, even if it's one at one race, that we can help them turn their lives around. They in turn will pay it forward, and they will reach out and they will help someone figuratively and literally on that wall, pulling them up to the finish line. And I think that I just rambled there for a while, but I think that encapsulates why we do what we do.
I no, but it made perfect sense. I mean, it's kind of one of those things because I was going to ask kind of where the front line came from because that's what I was wondering if it was kind of a battle, military, police, something like that. The whole idea of being on the front line, you know, and you kind of answered that before I could even
Well,
ask it.
sorry about that. I got
But
you
that's
got me
okay.
you got me rolling here on this, and I just, we get excited when we talk about this because it took a lot of work to get it going. And then you just encounter all these individuals who have a very similar story, just different names.
Hmm.
Um, and that's why we honor the different branches, not just the military, but first responders, firefighters, EMS, police officers. We have to honor and recognize them too, because they put their lives on the line, and if they die in the line of duty, it's similar to someone dying in the military overseas, doing what they're supposed to do, is protect and serve. So we don't have a distinction. They're doing the same work in a different capacity.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, to do that for those groups, especially right now when you see so much in the world today and stuff like that, where sometimes those groups aren't getting the respect and everything that they should be getting. Um,
Absolutely.
and it's amazing to see people giving, and giving the troops and the military, the police, everyone the respect, that I mean, they're out there protecting us every
Absolutely.
day.
They're
They're putting
fighting
their
and
lives.
they're putting their lives on the line so that
Mhm.
we can have this conversation and we can do these things that we take for granted sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, and that's so true. And it's one of those things. I do a whole nother podcast that I use my stage name for, but where we talk about, kind of conspiracy theory type stuff. And
Hmm.
there's things that I've read about and other countries doing that it's documented, well documented, what these other countries are doing that people don't realize the freedoms that we have. And those freedoms are because of, you know, first responders, because of military, because of stuff like that. We have those freedoms because people have fought and died for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's 100 sacrifice.
And those ones that didn't fight and die, the ones that did fight but did not die, a lot of times they come back different. They come back with PTSD. They come back with, it's one of the big things that we talk about a lot, more heart than scars, is it's not always like you mentioned it earlier, it's not always the physical. It's those invisible scars that you can't see. The, there's a reason, unfortunately, why there's 22 a day.
Yes.
It's those invisible scars that we can't see. And, sorry, you look like you're close to my generation anyway. Maybe not all the
Oh
way up
yeah,
there with me, but we were raised that we didn't show that, you know, and
exactly.
that's why a lot of us end up with these, invisible scars that no one can see because we were raised to show that you swallowed it and you move forward and you
Yep.
just kept going and you just kept grinding. Um, and we don't know how to deal with it.
Exactly. Exactly. And we're just starting to get to know
Yes.
how to deal with it. And that number of 22 is just an estimate. I'm sure
Yes.
it's greater
Oh,
than that.
I'm sure it's a lot
Um,
more than that.
yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Those scars that aren't seen, that's what we're trying to help with. And we're trying to get these individuals moving again, get them oriented, get them connected with other pro-social organizations.
Hmm.
I mean, I have to give a shout out to at least to the local groups that we're connected with Strong as Oak, Heart Fitness, the Flatliners, those groups who work within our group and their race teams. Um, it's so important to have the community involved and to get behind it.
It is, and that is so amazing when you have the community involved because then too, it gives them something to do, gives them, they're involved in it and they're going to promote it more and get more people out there. And like you said, the more these people, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know how many people I know that have been saved by OCR because of the community, because of everything else. There are people that have been saved from the invisible scars of PTSD from being in the military or just
Oh
having a
yeah,
bad childhood or alcoholics. Um,
or
I
all
know
of that.
Don, yeah, Don that emailed with, he's a recovering alcoholic and he works with a couple other people on More Heart Than Scars that are the Sober Spartans
Okay.
who are all recovering alcoholics
Mm-hmm.
or there's a lot of people that we've talked to that like we said, the PTSD from either being in the military or being a first responder and seeing the horrible things. There's all different things. It's like I've mentioned before, my dad was a firefighter for
Oh.
years and literally just quit one day.
Mm-hmm.
And when he finally explained why, he's like, I went to an accident call and a toddler had died. And he could see every time he looked, he saw my niece. And it broke him. He was like, that was the final done.
Yeah,
And
I
just
can.
about every one of his friends had a story that was very similar, where just one day they saw something, couldn't see anymore, and they're like, sorry, can't do it.
Yep. Or you experience something, and
Hmm.
yeah, I can 100% relate to that.
No.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been lucky. I've never had that. But I have my own personal issues, but nothing, to that level. But it just, everyone has something that they're fighting, and you never know what it is. And OCR has saved so many people to get them out of that and realize they mean something, they can do something, gives them something to strive for
They have a
and a
goal.
community.
Yeah, exactly. And the mission orientation is there again,
Mhm.
and they feel like they're contributing. So yeah, I think we're saying all the same things, and I think that your organizations that you're involved with, what we're doing, the teams that we're located with, I think once we raise that awareness, more effort is going to go into it, more attention is going to be brought to it, and more help, I think, and services for these individuals. But for our piece in the puzzle, we want to get people on the course. We want them moving actively and get the endorphins flowing and just meeting other people who can help them in their support network.
That's awesome. That is amazing. Um, so you said it's May 25th, right?
May 25th, 2024, Byron, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. It's
Byron, Illinois.
yeah, and you would never, I mean, if you're from Illinois, you would never imagine a place like this exists, but it's a phenomenal course. The terrain is amazing. There are woods, there are streams, there's single lane track. You can maybe see some wildlife, and
Oh.
and then it's juxtaposed to this 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant cooling towers. It's ominous. I mean, it really adds to the impact of the race. So, you're driving for miles and you see nothing but, farm, farmland and just plains. And then you get closer within maybe 6 miles, you can see the towers from the distance, and they look very
Mhm.
small as you're approaching. But as you get closer and closer, you realize how massive these towers are, and with the power that's literally the power generated by these things. So that's juxtaposed with the nature, beautiful terrain. It's a great combination.
It
So
sounds like it.
yeah, if you can get out there, you'll know exactly. You'll hit it and you say, "Damn, that's exactly what Ed said." You get that feeling, and you just compare yourself to that. And we're minute in comparison to what the capabilities of what that is.
Nice. So it's out there in the woods, kind of. So single track, all sorts of different.
Yeah, it's built up. It's built in. I'll throw a shout out to our event hosts, the Byron Motorsports Park. So they
Okay.
run they run a motorsports park for motorcycle racing, and I think if I'm not mistaken, they're going on their 50th year. It's a family-owned business handed down from One father and his son bought the business. So his son is who we work with. His name is Aaron. Aaron and Tanya are phenomenal hosts. They are so gracious with what we do out there and allowing us to do the things we do and supporting us. But yeah, it's a family-owned business. So if you're into motorsports, check them out. If you're near Chicago, it's a great location, great drive. The terrain in the course, there's so many hills. It is like nonstop hills. If you get one hill, you get a bigger hill, a small hill, and then another hill. It's just massive. And then the trails in the wooded area are just beautiful. Worth a trip.
Hmm. Sounds like a really beautiful place.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I'm definitely gonna have to go check that one out.
Yeah.
It sounds like one of those ones I definitely want to do. And like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to get all 50 states and get a 5K. Um, so
Even if you can't
that'd be a
physically
good way to
be
get to
there,
Illinois.
you know, the thing, and going back to the sponsorship, the sponsor hero program, even if you can't physically make it to the race, we do encourage people, hey, make a donation. This will go to towards getting someone who can get there and do the race, someone who, you know, is going to benefit from it. So
Hmm.
that's always an option that we throw out there for individuals.
Well, we'll make sure too when we post this that there is links to you, everything else, so people can go there and donate. And I mean, that would be awesome. Donate so somebody else can race. I mean, and that's what's amazing. I mean, if you can get other people out there to race, and that's the hard part I always get because like I do, this, I do comedy and a couple other things. Um, Support people, pay them.
Yeah,
I get that all the time. Where I'm always like, oh, hey, I want to free this. It's like, well, I still have to pay my dues. I have to
yeah,
pay everything. Like, like you said, there's a lot of expenses that go into putting this together. Um, I'm sure the park isn't free, and then um, you have everything that you have to do to set up, get all the help, volunteers, your time,
yes.
race ready obstacles. I mean, everything else. I mean, there's a lot that goes into
It's
setting one of these up.
Yes, and thank goodness I have someone on our team that does the building side because I did it for a few years where I was physically out there um, building, taking down, and literally I can remember one instance where I was the last person on the course and everyone had gone home, they'd finished what they were supposed to do, but I was responsible for cleaning up the tape on the course, and that I could not in the moment thinking this is never going to end. This is never going to end. And I can see why people could get burned out from doing something because when you do something that you're passionate about and and it becomes like work, I think that's where people start considering their options.
Yeah.
So coming in and having a team who can do that part of it and take the load off makes it so much. I'm more focused on what we need to do for the organization.
Hmm.
And getting more people on the course and getting more, when I mean people, more first responders and veterans, getting them on the course. At some point, I would like this to become uh, a situation where you kind of come to this point. If you are in that position, you're going to be there. If you are a first responder veteran and you want to be involved in that type of an event, that we are going to be drawing the attention of these individuals to make a trip, make it an annual trip. If they're going to do it, come out and do the frontline course. And then that will also help in other individuals. And they don't have to be, you mentioned it, you don't have to be a former military or first responder to struggle with these things. I think
Yeah.
the application of what OCR has to give is benefit enough. It's therapeutic for anyone.
Hmm.
So we have people who have never done anything and they get out there and they are invigorated. And now they're plugged into the same pro-social networks that are encouraging them and holding them accountable for their workouts, getting into a group setting where you are part of something bigger than yourself. I think that is the perpetuation of what these events can do. Local events, the big events, the more of these events we have, it's not just limited to Frontline, what Frontline can do. Every event that is being held is doing the same thing and can do
Hmm.
the same thing. It
Yes,
changes people.
it really does. And it does in a lot of ways. I mean, I've met so many people that, like you mentioned, OCR saved their life. It helped them get clean. It helped them whatever. It hit them at their low point when they thought everything, like, what's the point? And then they got into OCR and they got into that community, and that community brought them up and helped them. And that's one of the things that I was so far, I mean, I've just loved about OCR and the community. I mean, we're here to help.
Yep, absolutely. You can go to any race and you're going to find someone on the course and you're going to have a great conversation.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're running for the podium, you might not get that experience, but in the open waves, that's where the fun is. I think
Yes.
that's where you get to help people and meet people, and then you really put a name to a face from Facebook or any other social media. You actually get to see them and actually look forward to seeing them because you engage with their posts, and then you get to see them a couple times a year at an event, and it's always kind of cool to be able to do that, to have that connection. It's more than just the virtual experience.
Hmm. And that's it for me. I've met so many people on course that we became lifelong friends, people that I consider family now,
Hmm.
you know. Um, and that's what's amazing. I mean, I agree with you. The open waves is where it is. I've done the competitive when I got, in the really good shape for a little bit before I injured myself again and let me gain weight back. But
I
um,
understand that. I know.
but I ran a couple competitive, but it never felt the same because I was just there for me. I was just going, and it's not the same as, when you're out there with a group of people or your friends, or you're just kind of moseying along, I guess is the right word, but you're helping people where
Yep.
you don't care about your time. You're going to stop and you're going to help everyone you can.
Yeah, I don't even look at my chip time anymore. I mean,
No.
when it's there, I don't even put the bib on. I just go. To me, that's like you said. That for me, that's not the point. For me, it's the experience of being
Hmm.
able to be around other people, and people who are going to lift you up too.
Yeah.
It goes. I think the street goes both ways, and I think everyone can stand to benefit from one of these experiences.
No, very much so. And that's the thing is, like you said, I mean, it can go both ways. And I mean, just helping people makes you feel so much better. I've told many people about times that I've been on courses where I'm like, okay, this is my goal. This is what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden I see somebody struggling and I'm like, well, that goal's gone, because I would much rather have that feeling of knowing that that person finished the race because I stopped to help them, rather than thinking later going, I wonder what happened to that person.
Yeah, and then at that moment, you could be the one that the catalyst for continuing their journey, because they could have a really horrible experience, and then if that horrible experience is what this is what you associated with, you're never going to do it again.
Yeah.
But if you're empowered and you accomplish something difficult, um, and you did it safely, then you're going to come back for more, or you're going to
Yeah.
benefit from that positive experience. So yeah, I
Oh,
agree. You got to
completely.
make the experience for the racer.
You do. And that's kind of one thing. I mean, most people that listen to the show have heard the story. My first, Spartan race was I did the Montana Beast in 2015, like when it was a founders race.
Okay.
Um, and I think there's arguments on whether it was 21 or 23 miles. It was stupid long. First one I ever did. And if I hadn't ran into the people that I did, I never would have done another one. Because when I ran into them, probably at mile 9, I was done. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying myself. And then I ran into, a guy named Andrew, who was the original starter of Beast OCR up in Washington. I ran into him on the course and he kept me going.
Yeah.
And we talked. And by the end of it, I'm like, this actually isn't so bad because of the
Yeah.
people.
Exactly. I agree. I think I started as well in 2015. I think my first race was a Spartan race for sure. And that, yeah, that was the takeaway is it was a humbling experience because I
Mhm.
thought I was gonna, I was younger and I thought I can go in there and just kick its ass. But no, it was the other way around. It was a beast. It was tough, and genuinely my respect for people who go and do this. So yeah, I met some people along the course. Now continuously see them, at the different races and see them on social media. But yeah, it's a great connection you can make with people.
Oh, yeah. And it's totally, like you said, I mean, to me, it's humbling when you see that person who most people said should never be out there. Oh, that person shouldn't even be there. You shouldn't even try this. And they do it anyway.
Hmm.
Because I was that person. I was 310 pounds at one point. And I'm still out there doing Spartan races and everyone's, and all the other types of races. And everyone's like, why, you shouldn't even be out here. And I'm like, but I am,
Yeah,
you know. And then now that I've lost the weight, some of it, and I'm doing better, I like helping those other people because there's so many people like, oh, you shouldn't be out here. Not everyone's going to podium.
yeah,
Some of us are just out there to show that we can do it.
Exactly.
And that's what I love seeing is those people that everyone's given up on and they're still out there doing it. And like, hey, you know, with enough willpower, you can do anything.
Yeah.
One of the first times I dealt with someone who was, a athlete that needed help or didn't need help, but everyone thought he shouldn't be out there was, I don't know if you ever met him, Casey. He's from Oregon. He has no legs.
Hmm. Oh, I don't think I know him. No.
He was on the West Coast a lot, and originally being from
Okay.
Seattle, I raced with him a lot of times. Um, First time I met him, I was on a race. I was wiped. I was done. I'm like, I just can't do this. And I come around a corner, and there's Casey just going along with no legs, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I really don't have an excuse now. But
That's an interesting story too, because I had my similar experience. What motivated me to get off the couch was I was watching television one night, and it was, I forgot what network it was on, but the story of I think her name Amanda Sullivan. So
oh
Amanda
yes,
Sullivan.
oh Amanda Sullivan, yes.
So it was a Spartan showcase, and I think they were interviewing different people on the course. So they did a little side story with her where they interviewed her on the mountain. She was dragging two cinder blocks, and you could see she's obviously it differently abled because she's able out there, but she's just doing it differently.
Mhm.
She's dragging two stones up this mountain, and the reporter said, "Hey, the rules say that you only need to do one." And then she says, "Well, I'm in so much pain every single day that doing two isn't going to kill me." So I'm like, "Holy shit." So I'm listening to this and I'm like, and then they go into her, she goes into her background and what happened with her and the tragedy, the two tragedies that left her in the position she was in. I got off the couch at that moment, went on my computer and started looking up what is this Spartan race thing here?
Yeah,
Because if she can do it, there's no freaking way I can't just at least go and try this. And I went and I was trying to get my friends because no one knew about OCR at least that well at that time, but all my friends were unable to make it. They weren't interested. They couldn't do it. So I went with by myself. My family accompanied me, and I dragged my poor family because I didn't pay for the close-up parking, so I had to park in the general admissions, and that was an obstacle course in and of itself, getting through all the the tall grass, and my wife dragging my wife along with the kids. But they stood by my side and they watched me run the race, and it was a humbling experience. At the end, I was determined not be prepared for it, but I was also prepared to help other people because I saw that they helped me as well, and I think that was my positive experience into the race industry.
yeah. Which I mean, it's awesome to get in and see some of these, uh, just amazing athletes, and they call them the adaptive athletes and everything else. And Amanda Sullivan's one that I remember when I first started. I was following her quite a bit, in her journey, and I mean it was
Hmm.
amazing.
Oh,
And
truly.
she's a firefighter now.
Oh, I did not know that, but geez, she's pretty amazing.
Yeah, she actually she went through all the stuff. I believe so. I might have checked that to verify it, but I'm almost positive that she went through everything and became a firefighter.
Oh, good for her. That's fantastic. No limits. She did it.
No, no limits, and that's what's amazing. Yeah, I just looked it up real quick. She became a firefighter. She actually, and that's with a prosthetic,
Oh
everything
yeah.
else. She
This
was
is
able to become a firefighter. And that's what
wow.
shows just, I mean, and it's so tough sometimes because like for me, got down to 180 pounds, was doing great, had an accident on my bike during the Ironman, hurt my knee and my shoulder, and suddenly
Oh
I'm back up
wow.
to like 245. And it's one of those things, it's like I could have done things better, but
Yeah.
and it was just a knee injury and a shoulder injury, but it's just like you look at people like Amanda Sullivan, she's got a prosthetic leg and she became a firefighter. She was able to go through everything that most of us would have major issues trying to get through. Because if you ever seen the training that those firefighters have to go through to become a firefighter, and
Yeah.
she did it all. She said, "I'm going to do it anyway."
That, that's just it's amazing that she accomplished that.
It is.
Wow. Wow, I'm very, very pleased that she accomplished that and she's continuing to just reach goals and nothing's limiting her. I think that's a great takeaway for your audience and for all of us is that perseverance,
Yes.
and having that support network, but perseverance has to be there. You have to have that will to press forward no matter what. Um, Geez.
Yeah. And it is. And I mean, that's one thing that's awesome with, like, the Frontline OCR is, I mean, that's kind of what you're pushing forward is do that. I mean, get out there, do this anyway, you know, get past your demons, whatever they may be, physically, mentally, whatever demons that you're fighting, come out and fight them together.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And our open waves, everyone in the race does the same course. So whether you are male, female, open, elite, you're going to run the same course. The
Hmm.
requirements are the same, just different standards for the elites. So I think that having a challenging course in and of itself, and then mixing that into the open waves, I would imagine that there is greater opportunity for these interactions for these newer racers or these individuals who just didn't know how to prepare for these events. They probably form and connect a little bit more because it's a deeper struggle at that. It's physically a little bit harder of a struggle sometimes. And when you're commiserating, so to speak, with the other individual, you kind of form that bond. And if you go through the whole race, 6 miles with someone like that, you make that connection. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that is transpiring greatly on our course.
It sounds like it should be. I mean, it sounds like it's a beautiful course. Sounds like it's amazing. How many obstacles does it have? You
We
said
have
it's 6 miles, right?
yeah, 6 miles, and typically Aaron and Dana have 30 plus obstacles. So they'll count and they'll use, or not even count it as part of the number, the terrain,
Hmm.
the sheer uh, limestone formations, the rivers that they have to cross, the sand. So yeah, they really leverage the terrain, the hills. If there's elevation, Dana's going to find it. She's a phenomenal trail marker. One of the, probably in my opinion, and I'm just speaking out of my small realm of local events and some of the Spartan races, she's probably one of the best course markers, I think.
Hmm.
So if anyone's looking for a course marker, talk to Dana. She's dedicated, committed, and no one gets lost. It's total user error.
Yeah. I could find a way to get lost. Oh, but
My buddy does too. No matter what race, we get lost somehow. Like, oh, okay.
I've been known I don't do it as much in OCR. If I'm doing road racing, stuff like that, I have to
Hmm.
watch it like with the Ironmans, because I'll just put my head down and go. And then all of a
So
sudden
true.
I'll be like, look up and be like, where the hell am I?
Oh yeah, you're just
Why is
so
there nobody
focused.
around me?
You're like ultra focused.
Yeah. And
That's
I'll get
good.
that way. Like I said, I don't do it as much on OCR races, but on road races, I will, where I'll just put my head down and go.
Hmm.
Um, Especially if it's, if it's going to be a long one, like a marathon or something like that, I'll just put my head down and go. And sometimes I've had a couple times where I've like went right past something. I'm like, oh, oops, missed a turn.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's happened.
Oh, yeah. So, right on. Well, is there anything else you want to say to the listeners before we?
No, I think I think we've probably covered everything. The event is May 25th, 24, Byron, Illinois. 30 obstacles plus 6 miles of beautiful terrain. The entrance to the event is fantastic. And it's for a good cause. You're supporting, you're helping, based on our conversation. That's what we're all about. So I won't rehash what we talked about, but this is the mission statement, getting people on the course and helping them.
Nice. And we'll make sure that there's links to everything, to you and to be able people to register and everything else
Absolutely.
on all the descriptions. So,
Yep.
well,
Yep.
Ed, it's been great talking to you, and hopefully I
Likewise,
can
Mike.
see if I can find a way to get up to Illinois in May.
Yeah, well, we hope to see you. Like I said, if your team's coming out, we'll take care of them as well. And I hope your shoulder, and did you say your ankle or is it your
It was
knee?
my knee, but
Okay.
it's doing better. It's been about a year. It better be better because I got an Ironman in a month.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm doing the half iron in Galveston. So
Oh wow.
I'm gonna be got to train hard. So I've got the bike. In fact, actually, as soon as we finish here, I'm gonna go. My trainer's in the living room, so I'm gonna jump on my trainer and go for about a 15-mile bike ride.
Well, Mike, positive energy for you and your recovery so that you can
Uh,
accomplish that.
Thank you. I'm gonna go for it. So
All right. Well,
all
take
right,
care. It's been great speaking with you. And if you guys have any questions, reach out.
all right, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.